I was modeling, and I was on a street corner with Nikki Haslam and I. We just met on the street. I guess we'd had a rendezvous or something. And we bumped into Andy in front of Bloomingdale's, and Andy said, "You want to be in the movies?" So I thought, well, that'll be fun. Beats the shit out of shopping at Bloomingdale's. So I said, okay, fine.
Hello and welcome to Artifacts, a living archive dedicated to preserving the first-person stories of queer, avant-garde, and underground culture, told by those who lived it. Today's episode is part of our series Silver Factory, an enthralling journey through Andy Warhol's factory, whose inhabitants included an array of characters from socialites to superstars and speed freaks. In this episode, we hear from Jane Holzer, better known as Baby Jane, the model, actress, and collector who embodied the mod-style-driven spirit of the 1960s. Born in Palm Beach, Florida, she deliberately veered off the expected path, flunking out of college to pursue modeling. By 1963, her career had skyrocketed in London, and the following year, Tom Wolfe crowned her the Girl of the Year. With her iconic big hair and magnetic style, Baby Jane became a fixture in Warhol's early films and a central presence of the factory scene. She later appeared in Ciao Manhattan alongside Edie Sedgwick, and her connection to Warhol eventually grew into a formidable art collection that included works by Jean-Michel Basquiat and Keith Haring. Jane Holzer remains an enduring symbol of an era where art, fashion, and celebrity collided. A muse who helped define Warhol's vision while carving her own distinct place in cultural history.
How did you get the name Baby Jane Holzer?
That was Carol Bjorkman. She was an editor for Women's Wear Daily, and she did this gossip column. And I guess she heard about the movie, and then she put it in her column, and that was it. And then I went to see the movie, and I wanted to kill her. Not really kill her, but why me? The film of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Oh, that film.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's where it came from. And when I went to see it, I just don't know.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you feel about being in the gossip columns as much?
Well, the joke is half of the time they'd have you at places that you never were. They just use your name. I mean, they sort of invented this character. You know, you just become theirs. You know, a couple of days I'd be really pissed off, and then finally you just say, what the hell? I mean, I don't know. You know, it's just one of those things. You know, it doesn't really matter. I mean, the only public person that I think really mattered, that made an awful lot of difference, is Jackie Kennedy. I mean, you know, think about that. If she had broken down or acted in any other way how old was she when President Kennedy was assassinated? 30-something? Think about that. A 32, 34-year-old woman held our country together. Okay, that's something. Forget about anybody else. It's just, they don't, nobody else matters. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'd been modeling since I was like 19. It was very weird being the Girl of the Year. My mother freaked out. Everybody was jealous. And I thought it was really cool. But boy, people were reading on my parade as fast as they could, except until they became Girl of the Year. And then it was a whole different story, But, I was a good lesson in life, I'll tell you that. I mean, like figuring out. I already knew it from high school and junior high school. That people can be very mean sometimes.
Yes.
And so what are you going to do? You just roll with the punches.
Right. What qualities do you think it was that made you Girl of the Year? I mean,
I have no idea. Maybe because I was free and
Would it be stupid to say you suggest something new about possibilities?
No, I don't think that's stupid. I think that that's what they saw in me, that I did suggest something new about possibilities, and that I wasn't sort of the normal Sadie married lady. Mm-hmm. But that was because I didn't have a normal marriage. But nobody knew that. That was kind of like under the covers, so to speak. Now that I look back on my life, I see things ahead of time, sometimes too far ahead of time.
Did you have the sense that there was really pop fashion that was happening?
More English pop fashion came to America. And it was more like I was the one that went over and said, this is it. This is something happening over there. And then Women's Wear Daily printed it. And, da 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 da.
When did
In the 64, 65 maybe.
and who were some of the people you would buy there?
Tuffin and Foe, Thea Porter, which was like rich hippie. Tuffin and Foe was Carnaby Street, and Beetle Boots, and and today, I mean, Andy did Beetle Boots. I mean, he did paintings of Beetle Boots. David Bailey taught me. We all figured out where to go get. I think it was David and Niello's or something. We'd go and get these Beetle Boots that we all wore.
It's fabulous. Has your hair always been an important part of the look?
Yeah.
And you've always worn it very long?
Yeah. Except for when I was married the first time. But except for that, yes. Someone that worked at Kenneth backcombed it and made this big head of hair. So that was the beginning of that, I guess.
Of the big hair.
I mean, the truth is all you had to do was Miami Beach and they all had it. But, But, I mean, if Kenneth does it, maybe it's chicer,
And Diana Vreeland, I know, said amazing things about you. I mean, just that you were the new...
She was amazing. I mean, she was amazing. Let's face it. Picture her at her age, even getting it. I mean, most people just, like their worlds were so small. And then all of a sudden the 60s came and everybody was anti-Nixon, anti-this, anti-that. And we broke very peacefully an awful lot of rules. And, through me, I guess I was the one had to do with clothing. Well, how superficial is that? But there were many people. I mean, think about politically what was going on and music-wise and everything. It was like a whole era. But we were involved in a peaceful revolution that, unfortunately my uptake was, I thought, very superficial in the sum total of things. Then there was, majors like Martin Luther King, for example, and, Mississippi, which Andy, as you know, photographed, and there is a picture right over there, of breaking, the barriers of color and class.
When you first saw Andy, first of all, did you know who that was?
Yes, I had seen like some things, I think either in Glamour or Vogue or something about the Campbell soup boxes. And I thought, gee, this guy's got something happening. I didn't quite know what, or did I know if I wanted a Campbell soup box. But then all of a sudden when I was in the factory, he was doing these flowers, which are in back of me, were on the floor, and he and Gerald Malenga were squeegeeing them. And there's another one in my bedroom. I mean, I thought they were the most beautiful, happy things I had ever seen. So I said, where can I buy one of those? He said, you go to Leo and Leo will sell them to you. And then I went to Leo and then I met Ivan and, and on and on and on. And that was the beginning of my art collecting.
Wow.
The beginning of my addiction. And Andy had a lot to do with breaking the barriers of class, because it really didn't matter who came to the factory. It was how much talent did you have, or what, he gave so many people a chance. So many people. He was so generous. So generous. And it didn't really matter. It just mattered, what you could do, I guess. And he encouraged people. And even if he probably was the most amazing mentor, because he patted more people on the back and kept them going and got them going than we'll ever know. Than we'll ever know. And I think that's so important.
And it's often not the way it's portrayed.
Not at all.
I think...
No. I mean, they, sort of money hungry, this, that. They're honey hungry. He fed the hungry. He was so smart. He ran a tab at Max's for people to eat. And many, many people ate. Now, the reason he ran a tab at Max's was he didn't want to give people money in case they'd go out and buy drugs with it. So he said, fine, if you eat at Max's, I'll pay for it. I'm not going to give you money because you might go out and buy drugs. So it was very well thought out. I finally, after years and years, got it. No, he didn't say it. He would never. He was very quiet. Yeah. He might have said it to somebody that might have taken drugs. He might have said, all right, I'll give you some food, but I'm not going to give you any money because I don't, But he, even like with Jean-Michel, his way, I think, of trying to help Jean-Michel was to get him work with him, have dinner with him, and just hang with him and inspire him. And in fact, Jean-Michel and he inspired each other with the collaborations.
It's 'cause
I mean,
everyone-
he was very chatty and very funny and an amazing sense of humor, and he could be bitchy or funny or sweet or whatever. And Sam Green and I used to we'd talk and say, okay, we're going to call up, we're going to tell Andy this big bullshit story, just to, just for the fun of it, and make up that we did something really naughty last night or something, and just see if we could get him to, bite, just because he'd love it, So we'd plan and we'd do it, and then we'd call each other back. Oh, did he listen? Did he listen? Yeah, how did it work? So it was just fun, we just had fun. I went away, and then I made Chow Manhattan with Robert Margouleff, and Edie was in that as well. But I went away because there was some creepiness going on, and then Andy got shot. And then after Andy got shot, I came back. I just saw things getting a little bit too, I don't know, like gay, and get over it. I mean, when I say gay, I mean guys in chains and whips and, like shit. And I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a girl. I like guys. And whips and chains might be okay, but one-on-one, not in a group, I mean, I'm just, what can I say? And that's really not really my scene, but, it just didn't work for me. So I just left for a while, that's all, until it did work for me again.
So it was more that than it was people going out of control with speed. I didn't know if it was...
I didn't see anyone doing anything bad. Okay, the worst I ever saw was like they had this thing where you fill up a helium tank, where like if you suck, your voice gets funny. I mean, and even that scared me because I mean, I didn't realize it, but Bridget had this name, and Richie, they confessed to me that my nickname was Betty Crocker. So I guess, they thought that I was this straight thing. So what can I say? I guess I was Betty Crocker, I don't know. Billy kind of lurked around the back. I mean, I'd see Billy, but it was like, he's back there. He's over there in the dark somewhere,
Anything you can say about Chuck would be very helpful.
I found that he was mercurial. Mercurial, is that the right word?
Yep.
Mercurial. What I mean is that he was very manipulative, and he, very brilliant, and that's all I know.
What do you think Paul's presence brought to...
In the beginning, I didn't think very much. Now, I think he's such a changed person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, talk about a metamorphosis. I mean, Paul then, Paul now is like, God came in, or an angel came down and sort of like came into his life, because he's so different. I mean, he's so wonderful, and he's so brilliant. And finally, the negativity that was there in the beginning has gone, and there's just this wonderful positive energy. And maybe I didn't read it right in the beginning, but in the beginning I didn't feel anything very much for him. In fact, I almost didn't like him. And now I just love him. I just love him. We call him Father Paul.
Was Ondine somebody that you had much connection to?
No, but I knew him. I thought he was great. I thought all those people were great. And I mean, I was brought up, you have to understand, I came from Palm Beach. Can you imagine how uptight that is? Like, you go from Palm Beach to Ondine. That is a very big stretch, okay? I remember Nico, and I remember the Velvets, and I remember, I had known Nico before in Paris.
Oh, you had?
When she was modeling.
Oh,
really? God, yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'd been in Paris modeling, and she was there, and she was like this gorgeous. There were like two gorgeous blondes. She was one of them, and also Deborah Dixon from Texas was the other, who was with Donald Cammell, who did Performance, many, many, many years ago.
Yes. Did you have any sense of her besides that she was beautiful?
Well, I mean, models didn't have to be very bright in those days, so you never had any sense. They didn't want you to open your mouth. They just wanted you to sit there and be an object.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and God, the photographs of her were just unbelievable. I mean, Edie was just amazing. She was so beautiful and so talented and so fucked up. And if that's not a lesson to most people, it just doesn't work. I mean, unfortunately, she's not here anymore. Yeah. And I mean, nobody could hold a camera. I mean, the camera loved her. We'd be sitting around waiting for her to show up. We'd be there from like 11 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the afternoon when her cocktail finally was where she could get out of the house and come over. She'd come over, and there wasn't anything, one motion, no gesture, nothing that wasn't perfect. And by then we were like so fucking mad and tense and angry from waiting. I don't know how we did it. I mean, it was really hard. And yet she was perfect, just perfect. There wasn't anything that she did that was wrong. A blink of the eye, an expression. There just wasn't anything. And she loved it. And she loved the camera, and she loved to perform. Mm-hmm. Performing in Warhol Films is very simple. He'd give you one direction, like don't blink, don't smile, whatever. Or we'd be in a film and everything was just fine. I mean, when you have a script and you're not you, and, then you need some technique. You need to know what you're doing. You can't just, there might be people that are naturals, but, I think they've been watching their parents a while or something like that. Like, I think you have to be born into the business. I don't think there's very much of a natural that hasn't studied, They're kids like, Jane Fonda, like Gwyneth Paltrow. They're born in the business. They're gonna, they're there. 3 generations of Fondas. You can't, that's a whole other story. You have to study. There is a technique. I didn't want to be that big a star. It didn't matter to me. Kids and family mattered more.
Did you see other people at the factory that seemed to care about being a star a lot?
They cared about being a star, but with Andy, you could only be so much of a star. It wasn't really Hollywood, and yet all the producers in the world were in and out of there. It was hysterical. What went on, and some of the tricks that went on were even better.
And how directive was Andy about the directions that he did give you?
You mean like don't blink, just look at the camera for 3 minutes?
Exactly.
Or that's the most he ever did, I think. There were no rules. Like we were there, Andy was ahead of Hollywood. Because the structure was the structure, and Andy had the freedom and not the money and not the audience or the worry of any of the above to really be the artist. Freedom. Freedom, that was it.
Artifacts is a free oral histories platform. Please like, subscribe, and visit our website, www.artifacts.movie, for an ad-free, interactive experience with bonus content. If you're able, please make a tax-deductible donation at www.artifacts.movie/donate. Hit the link on screen to watch another Artifacts interview.